That number on the price tag? It wasn't chosen by a mathematician. It wasn't set by supply and demand. And it definitely wasn't designed to be fair. It was designed by a psychologist. And now it's being refined by an algorithm. One that knows your name, your location, your shopping habits, what's in your cart, what device you're browsing on, and how desperate you are to buy. The price tag used to be simple, a number on a sticker. Today, it's the most sophisticated lie in retail.
Now, you guys think these are just like paper prices, right? They're really not. These are electronic, and I'm going to show you that at 5 a.m. every day, which is going to hit pretty soon, any second, they're going to all flicker and they're going to all change. So these prices are not guaranteed the next day. And here we go. You see the flashing starting? I wanted to show you guys how this happens. It's like magic. Computer world is taking over. Look at all these flashing. I'm going to show you once they turn back. Look at that. Look at that, guys. All of these prices have just changed in front of your eyes. You saw that. You literally just saw it happen.
What if I told you there are nearly 40 documented psychological strategies, not business strategies, psychological strategies designed to manipulate how your brain reads a number? That companies have been exploiting a 1-cent trick since the 1800s, and it still works on 95% of retail prices today? And what if I told you that's just the old playbook? The new one is worse. The Federal Trade Commission just launched a formal investigation into what they're calling surveillance pricing, where companies use your personal data to calculate the exact price you're willing to pay. Not the market price, not the fair price. Your price, the one calibrated to extract the maximum amount from your specific wallet. At least 250 businesses have already adopted this, and most of them are places you shop every week. Today, we're peeling apart the modern price tag, layer by layer, from the 100-year-old mind trick that started it all to the algorithm that's watching you right now.
The concern is that this is going to be used to kind of take advantage of or gouge consumers in times of acute demand.
For example, is the price of ice cream going to go up when it's really hot outside?
The story starts in 1875. A Chicago newspaper publisher named Melville Stone wanted to sell his paper for 1 cent, but pennies were rare, nobody carried them. So Stone convinced local merchants to price items at 99 cents instead of $1. This forced customers to break a bill, get a penny in change, and use it to buy his paper. It was a marketing stunt, but it accidentally revealed something about the human brain that would reshape commerce forever. When you see $9.99, your brain doesn't process it as $10 minus a penny. It processes it as $9 and change. Psychologists call this the left digit bias. We read numbers left to right, and the first digit anchors our entire perception of the price. Studies confirm that prices ending in 99 outsell rounded prices by up to 24%. Raising a price from $4.99 to $5, 1 cent, drops sales by 4.5%. Today, between 40 and 95% of retail prices end in the number 9. It is the most widely deployed psychological trick in the history of commerce. But that's just the entry-level hack. The arsenal goes deeper. Price anchoring, a store shows you a crossed-out original price next to a lower sale price. Your brain uses the first number as a reference point, and the sale price suddenly feels like a steal, even if the item was never sold at the higher price. Black Friday runs on this. The decoy effect. The Economist once offered 3 subscriptions: web only for $59, print only for $125, and web plus print for $125. The print only option was never meant to be chosen. It existed solely to make the combo look like a no-brainer, a useless option that changes your decision about the other two. And then there's this. Researchers found that when a restaurant removes the $sign from its menu, diners spend 8% more. Reducing the font size of a price makes people perceive the number itself as smaller. But what happens when companies want to raise prices and they know you'll notice? They don't raise the price, they shrink the product. 1/3 of common grocery items have shrunk in size since the pandemic. Family-size Frosted Flakes went from 24 ounces to 21.7. Same price. The per-ounce cost up 40%. Tropicana redesigned its bottle. Narrower, different cap. and quietly dropped from 52 to 46 ounces. Cheetos party bags shrank from 17.5 ounces to 15, and the per-ounce price jumped from 17 cents to 40 cents. This isn't a shameful secret. It's a documented strategy. Research confirms consumers are far less sensitive to size changes than price changes. Your brain registers the same box, the same packaging, the same shelf position, and files it as the same product. It's not. You're paying more for less, and your brain doesn't flag it. 77% of Americans say they've noticed shrinkflation, but only 48% have switched brands because of it. Companies know this, that's why they keep doing it. And here's the part that should make you angry. The 6 largest consumer goods companies in the world, PepsiCo, Mondelez, Unilever, Henkel, Beiersdorf, and Nestlé, have all posted double-digit profit increases since 2021. PepsiCo raised prices 34%, Mondelez 24%. Federal Reserve research found that corporate profits accounted for 100% of price inflation between July 2020 and July 2021.
Have you noticed those tiny digital price tags at your grocery store? They are called electronic shelf label, and many people are worried about their grocery stores having them. Here's what you need to know. US supermarkets are quickly replacing paper tags. Some people are concerned, saying stores could instantly hike prices based on demand, like charging more for ice cream when it's a hot day or for an umbrella when it's a rainy day. Senators Elizabeth Warren and Bob Casey sent a letter to Kroger asking them whether they plan to use this technology for dynamic pricing. Arizona Representative Cesar Aguilar introduced a bill to ban digital labels altogether, saying they could lead to job losses and rising prices.
They didn't just pass along costs. They used inflation as cover to permanently recalibrate what you'd accept. The crisis ended. The prices stayed. But shrinkflation and greedflation are the old tricks. What's coming next is something entirely different. Everything we've talked about so far, the 99 trick, the anchoring, the shrinkflation, those are broadcast tricks. Every customer sees the same manipulation. But the new frontier of pricing is personal. The price changes based on who you are. In 2012, the Wall Street Journal discovered that Orbitz, the travel booking site, was showing Mac users more expensive hotel options than PC users. Their data showed Mac users spent $20 to $30 more per night on average and were 40% more likely to book 4- or 5-star hotels. So the algorithm steered them to pricier options by default. In 2024, Consumer Reports found that Instacart prices varied by up to 23% for different users shopping at the same grocery store. Instacart called it an experiment. They claimed they stopped. And then there's Target. Consumer Watchdog discovered that the Target app changed prices based on your physical location. A television priced at $499.99 on the app jumped to $599, $100 more when the shopper entered the Target parking lot.
How frequently does this occur?
It happens all too frequently.
Action News Investigates went shopping at Target using a scanner on the company's app to compare the advertised price with the checkout price. Our first stop, the children's department, where we found this booster seat. This is priced at $89.99, but it says here on the app it's selling for $99.99. Then we picked up a stroller. So it's priced at $169.99, but it says here on the screen it sells for $199.99. When we purchased these and 2 other items, the price we paid was not the price that was advertised on the shelf. So here's the bottom line. For these 4 items, a stroller, a microwave, a car seat, and a bag of coffee, we paid more than $50 above the prices that were advertised for these items on the shelves here at this Target.
The algorithm calculated that if you're already at the store, you're more likely to pay. Target was eventually hit with $5 million in civil penalties. This is what the FTC calls surveillance pricing. And in July 2024, they launched a formal investigation, issuing orders to 8 companies, including MasterCard, McKinsey, Accenture, and JP Morgan Chase, demanding to know how they're using consumer data to set individualized prices. What they found was alarming. These middleman companies, the ones retailers hire to set prices, collect everything: your location, your demographics, your browsing history, your credit history, your purchase patterns, even your mouse movements on a web page. At least 250 businesses, including grocery stores, apparel retailers, and convenience stores, had adopted surveillance pricing strategies. And then the technology moved into the physical store. Kroger partnered with a company called Cooler Screens to install digital freezer doors that use sensors to detect your age, gender, and how long you stand in front of the display. Electronic shelf labels, now rolling out at Kroger and Walmart, can change prices remotely in real time, multiple times a day. Senators Elizabeth Warren and Bob Casey wrote to Kroger's CEO, warning that the technology could enable in-store surge pricing. Meanwhile, Amazon changes product prices millions of times daily. One analysis found the average product's price shifts roughly every 10 minutes. The endgame has a name in economics: perfect price discrimination. It means every single customer sees a price calibrated to the maximum they're personally willing to pay. Not the cheapest price, not the fair price, the highest price you'll accept before walking away. When that happens, there is no shopping around. There is no competition. There is no deal. Every price is custom built to extract the most from your specific wallet. And you'd never know because the person next to you sees a completely different number. And here's where it gets truly dangerous. Remember the Sherman Antitrust Act? It was passed in 1890 to stop companies from colluding to fix prices. If two CEOs met in a room and agreed to charge the same inflated price, that's a federal crime. But what if they don't meet? What if they just both hire the same algorithm? A company called RealPage built software that recommended rental prices to competing landlords across the country. Each landlord fed their data into the system. The system analyzed the whole market and spit out a recommended price. The result? Rental rates climbed in lockstep across entire cities, even when vacancy rates suggested they should have dropped. The Department of Justice sued RealPage for algorithmic price fixing that harmed millions of renters. And this isn't limited to housing. The FTC's surveillance pricing investigation found that many of the same third-party pricing firms serve competing retailers simultaneously. When 10 grocery chains use the same algorithm to set prices, the algorithm doesn't need to conspire. It just optimizes. And the result looks exactly like collusion. Prices rising together, across brands, with no fingerprints. Nobody shook hands, nobody broke the law, technically, but the price you pay went up anyway. And proving algorithmic collusion is nearly impossible because the decision lives inside a black box that no regulator can fully audit. So what do you do when the price tag can't be trusted? First, read the unit price, that small label on the shelf that shows price per ounce or per gram. It's the one number companies can't manipulate because it exposes shrinkflation instantly. If the box looks the same but the unit price is higher, you're paying more. Second, compare prices in incognito mode. Open a private browser when shopping online. No cookies, no browsing history, no profile. You may see a different price. One person recently reported seeing cheaper United flights when they weren't logged in with their frequent flyer number. Third, be skeptical of your loyalty card. That app isn't rewarding you, it's profiling you. Grocers build detailed shopper profiles and sell that data to third parties. The exclusive discount you see might be higher than the price someone without the app gets. The card gives you the illusion of saving while funding the surveillance system. Fourth, something is actually changing. In November 2025, New York became the first state to require companies to disclose when prices are set by algorithms using your personal data. Every qualifying price must now carry a label that reads, "This price was set by an algorithm using your personal data." Consumers have already spotted these disclosures on Uber Eats, DoorDash, Target, and Postmates. France requires retailers to label products that have shrunk. South Korea fines companies that don't disclose size changes. And the FTC's investigation is ongoing. Bipartisan senators are pushing to reopen it and pursue enforcement. These laws don't write themselves. They happen because enough people demand them. The price tag was once the simplest thing in a store, a number printed on a sticker, honest, fixed, the same for everyone. That world is gone. Today, the price is a living algorithm, shaped by psychology, hidden by design, and personalized to extract the maximum from you specifically. It's the most intimate form of corporate surveillance most people will ever experience. And it happens every time you open an app or walk into a store. But here's the thing about systems designed to be invisible. Once you see them, they lose their power. Now, you see them. Next time you're shopping, open incognito. Check the unit price and look for that little disclosure label. You'll be surprised what you find. Subscribe for more. I'll see you in the next one.